Ian, Ukraine has agreed to meet with a Russian delegation for talks on Monday along the Ukraine-Belarus border without any preconditions. But in the meantime, Russia is working very hard to strengthen its hand on the ground here. Moscow's reach making itself felt in the eastern border town of Kharkiv. Russian troops spotted on the ground in the city of 1.4 million people after days of softening it up with a barrage of artillery fire. Strong enough to send those who'd been determined to stay, heading for safety.
I took my camera, I took my computer, my dog, and that's all what I have.
We met Katerina Pereverseva in Kharkiv just 1 week ago. Now she's on the other side of the country, not planning to leave it, but feeling safer.
We feel a lot of shame that we leave our city. We feel a lot of shame that our lovely people stay there.
An attack on an oil depot just outside Kyiv. Fear finds its feet quickly in the face of brutal force. And the city is now under a 39-hour curfew, according to its mayor, surrounded. Shelling sending people underground as the city braces for an assault.
Definitely feels much safer than staying home alone, like in your apartment.
Taras Baron, his partner Kate Savina, and their dog Tufi have spent the past few nights in this hotel car park, shocked at the turn of events.
We were like, no one will do that in Kyiv.
Also taking up residence in the temporary bomb shelter, the International Committee of the Red Cross, describing the situation as dire.
People are underground, no food, no water, no electricity. If they want connectivity, they have to risk their lives to be in a place just to say, I'm safe, to their families.
The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is clearly skeptical about the outcome of Monday's talks with Russia. But let them try, he said in a video message, so that later not a single citizen of Ukraine has any doubt that I, as president, tried to stop the war. Many Ukrainians worry the Russians might try to impose conditions like neutrality.
Going to be just a gray zone between the Russia and the rest of the world, so I guess it's not acceptable for anybody here.
For now, though, the focus is just on getting through the night. The Ukrainian leadership has said while it might be agreeing to talks, it is not agreeing to surrender.
Margaret Evans in Kyiv again tonight. The dogged determination of Ukrainian soldiers has hindered Russia's advance, but for how long? David Common is back with another big picture view of this fast-moving war. And David, tell us about the battle lines tonight.
Well, Ian, the Russians may not have counted on the resistance that they are facing. Let us start with the areas they do fully control, and that takes us to the south, Crimea, and the east, Luhansk and Donetsk. The Russian troops in this area are trying to pin the Ukrainian forces to restrict their ability to reinforce the capital. Next, let's turn to the north and northeast. These are the Russians who will make the run on Kyiv, but some of their vehicles are actually being destroyed en route or running out of gas because their supply lines can't keep up, sometimes being hit by Ukrainian soldiers with anti-tank weapons like these, or targeted from above by drones. There you see it, that released by Ukraine's Air Force. The Ukrainians also continue to take out bridges leading to Kyiv. That is an attempt to slow down the Russians. Now, every soldier in Ukraine is in the fight, but so too are lawyers and teachers and you name it, with new lethal equipment being sent urgently by road from multiple donor countries. Ukraine's president is also forming a new unit because Ukrainians who live abroad are returning to be part of the resistance. They are facing off against a nation with 4 times the soldiers, 4 times the Air Force. And yet, as of this morning, Ukraine had claimed that it had downed 27 Russian planes, 26 helicopters, 146 tanks, 706 armored vehicles, even 2 ships. The Kremlin has sent in more than 125,000 soldiers and can quickly push in another 65,000. Take a look at this. Satellite firm Maxar releasing these images, a 5-kilometer-long column of tanks, fighting vehicles, fuel trucks, self-propelled artillery. That was this morning. They were about 65 kilometers outside Kyiv then. A lot more that are behind them, thousands of troops and far more devastating weapon systems that are still in Mother Russia. This is a thermobaric missile on top of a tank. Scary as it gets, they're called flamethrowers because they ignite the air and can suck the oxygen right out of your lungs. And with all of Putin's nuclear threats, let us remember that Russia has short-range, low-yield nukes. They've never been used in any war, but they could take out a neighborhood. The point is, we don't know how this ends. Putin does not see Ukraine as ever having been sovereign. He has staked his legacy on this invasion. The question is, at what cost?
All right, David, thank you.